Hello, guys. I'm only going to go for about an hour because I've just been speaking for 3 hours, or at least involved in a group discussion for 3 hours, which was incredible. So I'm just going to basically go through what we discussed in this group discussion and how incredible it was. So before I get into it, I want to wish you all a blessed day, but I want to thank Divine, Gabriel, Joey, Hans, Stephen, and Svali for the call that we just had, because I thought it was absolutely incredible. So for a while now, I've been pondering whether I wanted to lead these group discussions because my schedule is so crazy, if I felt like I had enough knowledge to be able to lead them. And I always listened to my soul and spirit. Back then, it didn't feel right. So I was like, no, I'm sorry. Maybe in the future. Today, it did. So there's people there from the UK. Much love to Hans from Denmark, from the US. Just with different journeys, different ages. You know what I mean? I'm 36. You had Divine, 49. We had Joey, who's 42. Stephen was 57. Okay. It was amazing. Svali, 37. I'm trying to remember everyone's age. I think Gabriel was 50. Just absolutely unbelievable stuff. Stephen was there, Stephen Morgan. It was great. So it was only supposed to be for an hour and a half. And that became 3 hours. The reason it became 3 hours is because we got in a zone. We got in a zone of sharing incredible information, personal stories. Hans shared a story which gave me chills about his dog who died, called Rocky. And 4 days after, Hans broke his collarbone. And dogs wear a collar, and of course they love the bones, don't they? And it was so wild. It was 26 days after his birthday, which is the God number. I told you how my Patreon was removed on 26, 2 months and 6 days after my birthday. 26 letters in the alphabet. So it was just glorious. Gabriel was there, who helped me set up the website. He was sharing his stories. You know what I mean? Like, we're all meant to be there. And Svali, who's incredible when it comes to mythology and when it comes to the human spirit, he asked the group, he was like, why is it only a small amount of people who understand this knowledge, who understand gematria and astrology and the universe and symbolism? Why is it only a small amount? Why is it not everybody? And then, as far as I'm aware, I think it was Stephen who jumped in and said, well, think about school. So it's like the universe is a classroom. Let's think about school. Does everybody basically get the same grades? Does everyone work at the same level? So we focused on free will. We know there's an element of having this God-given gift. Like I used in the live stream, like when I was 5, my dad gave me a football. He said, wow, no training, just wow. So I had that gift of being an athlete, which feels like it was God-given, but I've worked so hard. I've trained. I would spend hours. I would dribble my ball to the grocery store. I'd sleep with my football. I was obsessed with it. 25 in the life, 5 likes. I'll get to that later. George Floyd's death date. Really crucial with why the Bulls went out today to the Bengals. If you notice, the Chiefs won the game with 27 points and the Bengals won with 27 points. The Jaguars had that 27-point comeback. It's because it's the 103rd NFL season, the 27th prime. So not everyone's going to get it. Like, again, some of you guys are good at math or English or science or physical education, or you can play an instrument. We can't all do it. When it comes to this knowledge, there's only a few people who have persevered. So I'm going to say hi to you all before I get into this. Hey, Divine, much love. I hope you enjoyed it. Justin, how you doing, mate? Billy, much love. Seventh Denim, how you doing? Conmain CH, the beer guy, funny guy. Father and son exploring, how you doing? Killer Cam. So, Svarley brought up, without me hinting for him to do this, he told everybody my story of what I gave up. Hey, results. Hey, how you doing? My boy, Chris. This is a guy I did the live stream with about LeBron James. Again, just an amazing guy, Chris. He was just discussing my journey, Svarley, about me giving up my wife, my house, my job, and then where I went to go and live. And we had a joke about it. He said, basically, I went from like a palace to living in like just the most horrific apartment. I said, go on, rip me. It's fine. It don't bother me. So he let everyone know what I gave up. So when it comes to knowledge or whatever it may be, your talent, a gift that you have, there's many gifts that you have that you're not aware that you have because you've never taken a chance. Some of you guys might be incredible guitar players. You've never picked up a guitar. Me with numbers. I am at this point extremely talented with numbers. Never knew that because I never cared about them. I never studied them. I never looked into them. Now I have. Turns out I have a gift. I can memorize them. I can identify numerical patterns. Never knew that before, other than through doing well at math at school. So, yeah, that question, why me? So then I asked the question, and I think a lot of people agreed with how I saw it. We need to stop asking why sometimes. Okay, in many aspects, it's good to ask why. Or if you don't know the answer to a question, say, hey, can you explain that? All right. If you don't understand it, you've got to ask questions. But I had many sleepless nights with that question, why? Why me? Why did I find gematria? Why did I write that book? Why did I leave my wife? Why did I leave my job? Why did I leave England? Why did I go to LA? Why did I move to Mexico? You start asking all these whys. What it is now, because we've got to live in the present moment, which I made a big point of that. Just deal with it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy it. Okay? We don't have to overthink everything. It often holds us back when we overthink. And when we overthink, we often live in fear. So I have a gift, which I believe is from God. Other people might not believe it's from God. That's fine. I'm so open-minded to other people's opinions. I believe God's given me a gift and a calling. I believe I answered the calling with my free will. I believe I sacrificed everything that I sacrificed, my choice. But I believe that there was something divine guiding me in a certain direction. But I, again, decided to go on this path, and it felt right, even though it hurt. You know what I mean? It felt right, but it hurt. So I'm now at a point in my life where I'm just so clear in who I am and what I want, and I live in the present, and not really anything phases me, and nobody can pretty much like upset me. Obviously, family members, somebody dies, that hits, doesn't it? That's always going to hit the soul because that connection you have with them. But I just want to say thank you to all those people that were in that group call. I went into it. You guys know who I am. I didn't prepare anything. I didn't prepare an opening sentence or topics like a lot of people do when they do these discussions or presentations. I went in there flowing. I didn't go, I'm going to ask this person this question. Now it's your turn. We went with it. Of course, certain people speak more than others. Other people want to observe and listen. They don't feel comfortable talking. Thank you, Divine. I saw what you did. It's very smart. You brought people into the conversation. It was great how you did that. So what do you think, Stephen? What about you, Hans? What about your story? Hans is 21. Phenomenal Decoder is 21. How did he wake up? He said he was watching professional football and he thought, wow, this is so slow. This is so slow. And then he thought, okay, I believe pro sports are corrupt. And at the beginning, he thought it was all about money. So then he typed in sports are rigged or football is rigged into YouTube. He finds the illusion. A year later, whatever it is doing a group discussion with me. So it was absolutely incredible, that conversation. And it went on for 3 hours, 37 in the live, 12 likes, 37 the 12th prime. Hey, Chikoza, you would have been a great addition to that. But I ain't going to promise I'm going to do these every week. If there's a lot of demand, of course, I can't have the same people every single time. But I won't mind doing that with those same people every week if there's no demand. It was great. So we've all gone through this awakening, different levels, different stages, different times of our life. Divine had her awakening, she said, at 4 years old. All right. We had another guy in the group who literally woke up when he nearly died from drowning when he was 11. Like, how wild is this? So I had my awakening at 33 when I wrote a book and I connected it to coronavirus and the death of Kobe. There's somebody else who had an awakening in 2020. Gabriel had his awakening in 2008, which was the financial crash. Like, so we've all gone on these similar yet very different journeys that have led us to where we are now. I've told you coronavirus was declared a global pandemic in 2020. 2020 connects to your vision, which we were discussing. So 2020 vision. All right. That's what it was, 2020, an opportunity to basically open your eyes to what's going on in the world. Not to have all the answers because we're not supposed to. Again, that's why you have the all-seeing eye with the occult, the eye, the London eye, the third eye we all have here, which is your pineal gland, which is wisdom. Hey, Denise from Kansas, how you doing? It's funny, I was out yesterday. This whole family were wearing Kansas City jerseys, walking around the town center like they owned it because the Chiefs won. They had a swagger in the step, almost like they won the game, like they were playing in it. I was like, oh my word. The power of professional sports with social identity is off the charts. Okay. So again, I want to say thank you. If I've missed any names out, you know what I mean, with the chat. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure I have. Maybe I have. I feel like I am. Who am I missing, Divine? I feel like I'm missing someone really important. It's because they probably signed up late. I've got Stephen Sfarley, Hans, Joey, Gabriel, Divine. My word, I'm missing somebody really important here. And it's frustrating me. So help me out. Who am I missing? I think there was one more person. There was one more person. Stan. My tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all. Stan, oh my word, this guy's knowledge. Stan was the guy who was talking about the universe and how it's a classroom and how knowledge is power and how most people basically shy away from knowledge and not interested in it, especially if it hurts their view of life and shattering their illusion, basically. Joey was talking about his situation. So Joey is with a beautiful, open-minded girl called Gintada. I met them both. They stayed at my mum's house, even though I'd never met them before physically. They stayed over. We went to Leeds, played a bit of pool in my house, my mum's house. And they originally, when Joey came across the numbers, they broke up. They broke up because of the numbers were too much for Gintada. They got back together. They now both love gematria and numbers, and they sit down and they'll watch me live stream and other people. So originally, the numbers separated those two. And then the numbers have made them more connected than ever. So there's the 3 stages of truth, isn't there? The first one is you laugh it off, you mock it. The second one is it hurts and it makes you angry. The third stage, which most people never reach, is acceptance and actual embracing the truth. So there's 3 stages. I think most people in the world never get past the first one, which is ridicule. When you start slowly seeing people open up and somewhat question what's going on, try and support them as much as you can. You can't tell them how to see the world. Like Divine, we're talking about her child, but I won't get into it. But you can't tell your child how to live and expect them to live the way that you expect them to live. You can influence your kids, parents, students, players that you're coaching, can have an influence. You can't dictate how they see the world, how they're going to perform, and who they are. All right? We can say upbringing is everything. People say upbringing is everything. No, it's not. It's not. It's important. It has a huge say in who you become. It's not everything. All right? Again, I'm pretty much the only one in my family that has the gift of seeing these numbers. It's not all of them. I haven't got this gift through my family teaching me about gematria or numbers or numerical patterns. All right? They didn't give me this knowledge. Okay? They paid for my education and all of that. And they taught me respect and all of that stuff. But in reality, you only have a certain amount of say in how people see the world. So don't be trying to wake up your whole family because you've got an amazing decode. Zach Hubbard wasn't in that discussion. We talked about him for 5 minutes because we talked about how we found gematria and stuff like that and talked about how he brings people's frequencies down. That's it. That's it. Again, you can share knowledge and discover knowledge and present it in different ways and use it in different ways, just like you can give 100 people the same ingredients. They're not all going to cook the same quality of food or in the same way. So, yeah, the buzzard. Knowledge is Jesus. Jesus is everything, including the reality you experience. Yeah, somewhat. Somewhat, yeah. I know what you're saying. But you do have that free will. So that was great. Will I do it again next week? Maybe. Maybe. I'll see who's interested. It was unbelievable. Will it have the same impact? Maybe. Maybe. Again, oh my word, I'm doing the whole thing, aren't I? With Alan Watts, Joey, and Divine and everyone else who was in that live discussion. I'm doing the whole thing with Alan Watts, with the Chinese farmer. All right. Have you heard of that? It's a parable. So a long time ago, a poor Chinese farmer lost a horse, and all the neighbors came round and said, well, that's too bad. The farmer said, maybe. Shortly after, the horse returned, bringing another horse with him. And all the neighbors came round and said, well, that's good fortune. To which the farmer replied, maybe. All right. So it goes on forever and a day where you can imply something is a positive when in reality, maybe it's not. Or you think something's a negative and it turns out to be a blessing in disguise. So there was a guy, I'm not going to read it word for word, just from what I remember. The guy on his horse, he falls off his horse, he breaks his leg. Okay. Oh, well, that's tragic. Oh, my word, I'm so sorry. Maybe it's tragic. And then it turns out the guy who broke his leg, the day after, the army came. They wanted him to be a soldier. He couldn't be because his leg was broken. So him breaking his leg, which seemed incredibly negative, turned out to prevent him from going to war. So what I just said then about next week, will it be as good as this week? Why? I don't need to compare, do I? If it happens, it happens, and it's going to flow. I don't have to worry if next week's going to be better than the previous week, or if tomorrow's going to be better than today. Focus on the present. So we'll see what happens. And the famous words of the invert, Ellie Goulding. Anything can happen. Yes. Yes, I somewhat do believe that. But today was incredible. When it comes to the sports games, it's just, it gets you so far. It's helped me find God coding the sports. And it won me a decent amount of money for sure. But I'm just slowly getting to the point where, like that group's discussion today, we hardly talked about sports. I didn't really code at all. I did a few codes in regards to why Rashford scored 40 weeks and 2 days before his birthday, and you combine the timing of the goals for United, got you 76. 7 times 6 is 42, how long the beast reigns for. I discussed all of that. When you add up Rashford's jersey number, Saka and Sancho club level, it gets you 42. They missed all the penalties for England in the Euro 2020 final. And I was like, all right, so Man United are going to beat Palace and get to 42 points on the 4th of February, like 4-2. I was like, this is all the beast. And then I discussed this celebration they're all doing, pointing to the temple, which connects to the forehead, which connects to the mark of the beast, the number of the beast. I'll do a video on it, not today. But Saka did that, Rashford did that, Tammy Abraham did that. They're all doing the same celebration. These symbols are important. And for me, they're pointing to the temple, which could be connected to Solomon's temple or the Masonic temple or the Satanic temple. I think the temple connects to the forehead when you study it. And it's referring to the mark of the beast, which I think is going to be the chip, which you get in your forehead or your wrist. The vaccine was not the mark of the beast. Nowhere in the Bible or the book of Revelation does it discuss getting the mark in your bicep. All right? It's your wrist or your forehead. It's going to be the chip. It's going to be the chip, and those in love with the world are going to take the mark, and that's basically where Satan's aware that you're on his team, and you'll probably go down with him unless you repent and see what you've done and accept that you made an error of judgment. That's how I see it. And again, I don't know. But I want to prepare you all for it. With the work that I do, the codes that I do, the hit rate, the biblical codes. I did a whole code for Man City to win today about the number 9. The whole code was about number 9. Who gets a hat-trick and a 3-0 win? Number 9. Because the whole code was about 9. And the average person's just going to say, you coded City to beat Wolves. Well done. They don't understand why I'm doing it. I'm trying to show you we live in a coded reality, and it's not man behind the code. Man's aware of the code. There's people living right now who have probably more knowledge than all of us in the chat and me put together about astrology, about the world, about history, about philosophy, about psychology, about the Bible, hidden books that have been hidden from us, Book of Enoch, all of that, demons, angels, got all this knowledge, and they're using it against humanity. They know where this world's going. Look what I've done in 2 years and what I've predicted. Over 100 big things, I would say. Not huge things, but what I've done in 2 years with no guidance from the secret society or the occult. I was born into a certain bloodline, or even a course that I've taken, or studying witchcraft or anything like that. I've done all this in 2 years through the Holy Spirit. Now imagine you're born into a world where you've been given divine knowledge from birth. and you truly know how this universe operates, that is why the 1% or less who have this knowledge, it's the knowledge, because it's power, have acquired their wealth and influence on the world. It's through sacred knowledge. It's why they want to hide people like me or shadow ban me or kick me off Patreon. Because they don't want more people understanding it. Because then we get closer to them and they start losing all that wealth and they don't stand out as much as they used to. So, guys, I've done a whole code about 36 with 49ers and Dallas. They both have remarkable codes. My main number for this game was 36, and 49ers just blocked a 1-point conversion, and now the game's 3-6. So you want to say that they all planned that, and it's the 36, and come on. Come on. Told you there'll be certain ones that are aware of the code. The owners, much love Tangos. I was speaking to Hans from Denmark in that group discussion, and I said, how was Denmark when Ericsson collapsed? He said everyone was devastated. They were devastated. And again, none of them knew him, other than Ericsson's close friends and family. You don't know Ericsson. But he's almost like a brother to you, isn't he, when you're from Denmark? Like, when I had my awakening, it was unbelievable. But prior to that, if David Beckham went down with a cardiac arrest, I would have cried my eyes out. Or Michael Owen, or, you know, like back when I really loved England, one of those players, Rooney, if they would have had a cardiac arrest, I would have cried my eyes out. Number one, I've never spoken to them. I've spoken to Beckham, met Beckham, I've told you all that story, but didn't know who they were, no connection, no bloodline. It would have broken me. And I said in my group discussion, I think people have cried more about like Take That splitting up or NSYNC splitting up than a family member dying. And they don't know these people. So there's got to be some sort of black magic to it all. Why we become so connected with people we don't know, basically through a TV. Hey, eyes wide open. You are truly using the tools God gave you for good. Thank you. I believe I am. I believe I'm doing it for the right reasons. For me, again, my truth. I know who I am. I know why I do what I do. And it's physically tiring, but again, I believe this is the end times. I do. So I'm going to embrace each and every day. And if I have an ounce of energy in me to go live and discuss this stuff, I'm going to do it. I've told you, I've just spoke for 3 hours. I was in a call for 3 hours. I could just close my computer now. But I wanted to share our stories and why it's important to find people who are open to this knowledge, because there ain't many people. I have one person out here in Mexico that I can talk about this stuff to. Maybe two, but he lives in between Mexico and the US. Not many of us. Just embrace it. If you are one of these chosen ones and you are just on this journey for knowledge, like you're craving knowledge, like you've never craved it before, just embrace it and don't ask why. How long do you think we have left? I think by 2030, everything's done. For me. I'm not trying to scare you in any capacity. I could be completely wrong. I just think by 2030. Study Agenda 2030. Look into that. I think it'll be 2030. But big stuff's going to happen this year, next year. Our whole world's going to flip upside down. And Divine was talking about astrology and all of that, how important that is and understanding it. Again, never taught us astrology at school, understanding the planets and how they align and how we're all connected to certain planets, certain energy. We don't know this stuff. We just think of like the zodiacs and your star sign, and you might read it in a newspaper. We don't truly understand like who we are, where we came from. I don't know why I was born on my dad's birthday. And we're so alike. We're so alike. But then again, when it comes to this type of knowledge, he doesn't comprehend it. But in 90% of the other things, we're like the same person. I was born on his birthday. My brother John, who was born exactly 16 months after me, many ways we have similarities, but in so many ways we're the complete opposite. And many times we've like physically had fights, just didn't connect. And that's not because of our upbringing. I just think it probably was something spiritual or with astrology that we just don't connect. Despite we'd do anything for each other, but we don't connect. You know what I mean? There always seems to be friction between us. So I definitely want to go next level with this knowledge. Philip, you would have loved this group discussion. We were talking about the power of prayer and all of that. And again, there's praying, and then there's like, why do you pray? What's the purpose of prayer? Is it for selfish needs? Are you doing it to benefit other people? Do you truly mean it? Are you praying just for the sake of it? Because you feel like, all right, I'm a Christian, I guess I should pray. Do you only pray when you go to church? The power of prayer, I think, is very important. And again, not all your prayers are going to be answered, or they might not be answered instantly either. Patience is a virtue in so many ways. And in other ways, there's got to be a time where you are impatient and you get stuff done. All right? There's a fine line with so many things in life. Again, being a nice guy, don't always be the nice guy. Right? Always be too nice and put everyone before yourself all the time, because it will wear you out eventually. So just all the balance that we need to operate in this world. Because it's a wild world. It's insane. Yet it's very beautiful. But it really is. It can leave you breathless when you actually break down the universe and the code behind it. And it's just incredible. And Svali made a really good point. So we always talk about age. Like, oh, he's 13, he shouldn't hear this. Or he's 90, he's too far gone. Svali brought up a great point. He said, if we are spirits, and we've done this multiple times, or again, we were in a spiritual world before, like the movie Soul, and then we came down to earth, we agreed to this, almost test. You can't judge somebody by their age. Okay, that's why you have 8, 9, 10-year-olds who are so spiritual, so aware, so smart, so open-minded, and you have a 65-year-old who's so closed-minded, because you can't judge these people. You can say it's the programming, and possibly you can't judge everybody off their age in regards to their birth certificate, especially when you study time and what time represents, and how in many ways time's being controlled by those with the sacred knowledge of how the universe really operates. I believe man divided the day into 8s. Sleep 8 hours, work 8 hours, somewhat relax 8 hours if you can. I think man did that. But obviously, I think time does exist to an extent. And it can be beneficial. It can really be beneficial. Like today, to set up that meeting, had to have a time, had to let everybody know what was going on. Couldn't just send out the link and expect everybody to be sat waiting for it. But it's just absolutely mind-blowing to me how this world really operates and why we're here and what's the ultimate goal of being here and where do we go. But again, there's your spiritual age. If we are spirits, my spirit could be 3,000 years old. Who knows? All right, you might have a 90-year-old whose spirit is nowhere near my level or has as much experience as I've had within this realm. Who knows? That depends on if you believe again in, if this is it, you live once, you die, that's it. If you believe again in reincarnation, like many people do, if you believe we live in a matrix, like a video game, and when you die, you just come back. Sometimes you go back to the beginning of the level. Sometimes you go back to where you died. And then your memory gets erased like a computer. When you erase a computer, its memory, still the same computer, but all the memory is gone. Still the same computer though, isn't it? But everything that was within that has disappeared. It's gone somewhere. That's why there's this whole cloud now as well. They want everything in the cloud, this meta universe. All right, they want to take us out of this reality into a different one, which I'm still trying to work out. I do think it's Satan pushing the meta universe, having us escape the genuine one that God created. Other people say, well, God's in control of everything and there is a meta universe, then it's God. It's very difficult to talk about these topics, especially with people who don't want to open up about anything. But it's, can hurt your head. Can hurt your head, but it feeds your soul. Yeah, I know his name's not Jesus. I don't believe his name's Jesus, but you know who I'm referring to, don't you? You know who I'm referring to when I say Jesus. I don't want to go back and forth with 5 people telling me it's called Yeshua, no, it's called Yah, no, it's called Jesus, no, it's called Jesus Christ, no, it's Son of God. Like, we go back and forth. You know what I'm getting at? You know what I'm referring to? What channel is your reality set to? I don't know actually what you mean by that question. Just believe I have a gift for revealing deception and that we live in a coded reality, and I hope it leads you to believe that it's something superior to man. That's all I want to do with my work at this point. And yeah, I want to build up friendships and all of that and share knowledge. Again, we don't have to worry about, oh, this person's from Denmark, this person's South African, this person's American, this person's Brazilian. It's somewhat exciting when you gather all those people because of the different cultures and backgrounds and all of that. It is good to learn about that stuff. But in essence, it comes down to the spirit of the person. It's not the color of the skin or where they were born to me anymore. It used to be like everything was a social construct for me. You know what I mean? Rich, poor, black, white, fat, thin, boy, girl. We actually had this discussion. Like, do we focus too much on gender if we're all spirits? But then again, we should focus on gender. It's our God-given gender. And then Satan's infiltrating that by doing things like making people non-binary, where they don't identify as a male or a female. So we're living in a lost world now. I think demons are living amongst us. I don't know if they've been released or if they've always been here, or whether or not the more we've just lost our connection with God and the Holy Spirit, they feed more off that. So they're getting more and more energy through fear that it feeds them. And then they come out to play, you know what I mean? I don't know. I do believe angels and demons have always lived amongst us, but in a different dimension. Are they entering ours now, or are we entering theirs? Are we entering theirs? This 49ers game is going to go 6-6 for the book of Revelation, the 66th book, and the Church of Satan being founded 66. It's going to end up going 6-6. And if it does, guys, you just got to this is more than some guy throwing a football or some guy making a rush or some guy making a big tackle. This is biblical. every day. And I know most people now with these NFL games, they want to win money. They're still engaged as fans in it, and the thrill of it, and the show of it, and the drama of it. I get that. But I really wish you start seeing how biblical it all is, because this game's going to go 6-6 for the Church of Satan. It was founded in San Francisco in 1966. And I've told you the game started 3-6, and 36 is 6 times 6. If one of these two teams wins the Super Bowl, they're going to win the 6th Super Bowl. 2 other teams have done that. Pittsburgh have won it 6 times. All right? The Patriots 6 times. If one of these 2 teams win it, and I bet it's one of these 2, it's going to be 6-6-6. This is it. This is the end, guys. Not in a negative way. I know it says, how can this not be negative? We're living through Revelation. We're here to experience this. This unbelievable, wild ride that's going to be full of so many highs and lows. Extreme highs, extreme lows. I will go to England in April. Hand on my heart, believe it'll be the last time I'm ever there. People might judge me for that and say, well, if you do believe that, why don't you stay there? I'll do what my soul tells me. I believe this will be the last time I go to England. I don't care how much money it's going to cost me. I will be spending my birthday with my dad on his birthday. I know that. I know that. So it's so beautiful when you have the mindset I have now of, I'm just so ready. Like I live every day. I enjoy it. I embrace it. But I feel like I'm ready for anything here. And I'm almost living. Like it's almost like, and I don't want to say this might come across as being very disrespectful because I've never experienced this. And I hope I never do. Touch wood. I almost feel like somebody's told me, you have a year left to live. Now just enjoy it and embrace it. I'm at that point. It's why every day I enjoy myself. I want to inspire people and help people. I don't think 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. I'm not worried about an economic crash. I'm not worried about dying. I'm not worrying about, can I ever get to the US again if I don't have that? I wake up every morning with this just whole like, let's go. I embrace every day now. So I do believe we're so close to the end. So I enjoy it. It's like, I've told you this, like when I'm having a beautiful plate of food, I enjoy that plate from the first forkful to the last one. And that's how I am now. I'm not worrying about, I'm going to have an empty plate soon. I'm going to enjoy that meal. I'm going to get that bit where you get that little tortilla and get that last little bit of sauce or that chapati, that little bit of curry. I'm going to enjoy it, man. Simple as that. If people say, how can you enjoy the end times? How I see it. If I die, my physical body, I want you to celebrate my life. I don't want you to cry. I want you to cry thinking about me going, woo! I don't want you to get all emotional and wear black and mourn my death. I just enjoy the show, guys. Enjoy it. And I'm going to tell you something to show you who I am here. I feel like either God or Satan or combinations testing me, and I think it's a good way. I think it's testing my my greed, and if I'm doing something for the right reasons. And I spoke to a few of my close friends about this. I knew what I was going to do, but I also wanted their opinions. A lot of people have been reaching out to me through my YouTube channel saying that they want me to promote them or their merchandise or video game or whatever it is. So Kenya's obsessed with cats. She loves cats. All right. And 2 days ago, I got an email from some video game company called Stray. And they asked me if I would be willing to allow their video game commercial to come on during my ads. And they said this: "Hey, dear Illusion, we would love to work with you. Let us tell you a little bit more about our game. Stray is a third-person adventure game set in the neon streets and grim, moody dungeons of a dying cyber city." So straight away, I'm seeing death and grim and negativity. "Wander through basements and rooftops, defend against unexpected threats, and unravel the mysteries of this unfriendly place where there is no one but unresponsive droids and dangerous creatures. See the world through the eyes of a stray cat and interact with the world around you in the most bizarre ways. When encountering the strange inhabitants of this alien world, you will have to be stealthy, nimble, unintelligent, and sometimes intrusive. Quick info. Our offer for integration of 45 plus second in the beginning or the middle of your videos starts from $100 to $5,000. The price specifies your manager, you personally, in the contract. If you estimate the cost of your advertising more than $5,000 US, send us your offer and we will discuss it." And then they sent me a contract, and that where they'll transfer me the money. Do you know what I said? No. No. So they're offering me anywhere between $100 and $5,000 for me to promote this video game from what I've heard is a very popular video game called Stray. I said no. I'm not going to say this person's name. I'm not going to say this person's name. A professional athlete has reached out to me and wants to do a podcast with me. I said no. I said no. It didn't feel right. So imagine this, in the space of a couple of days, these offers that I got, to sit down and do a podcast with an elite athlete who had an amazing career, who came across my YouTube channel or whatever, said somebody recommended my channel to him. And then I get offered to promote this video game, which is extremely popular. Type in Stray. I said no to both because it didn't feel right. So you've got the Illusion calling out this beast system, this society that we live in. And then calling out celebrities, calling out how video games are performing mind control and influencing sedentary lifestyles. Do you know how easy it would have been for me and my ego to do the podcast and get paid for it and basically get this extra money for just letting some stray video game commercial be on during my ads? I've said no. So again, for the people who continuously say, you just do this for money, I'll repeat it. I gave up a $320,000 house, Mercedes, rooftop, ocean view, my job, to go live in a shitty apartment. All right? I gave up betting, where I was winning thousands of dollars through my knowledge. Gave up betting. I've turned down those opportunities and I'm going to get more. Whatever they offer me, I don't care if somebody offers me 10 grand to promote them. I ain't doing it. So in the chat, you make 5 grand a month from the website. Not that amount. After tax, closer to 4. And I deserve every single penny and more. But I don't do the website purely to make money. Told you with the website, currency, energy, money, it's all the same thing. Money is currency, currency is energy. I do 8 to 10 hours a day. I do these live streams for free for people like you to listen to. All right. And I get paid money for it. If I didn't, you wouldn't be getting what you're getting from me. You won't be getting my live streams. I'd be in a school working 9 to 5. What a shit way to make a living. That's what I'd be doing. And I'd come home tired, and I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be coding the universe and taking people to the next level with knowledge. So I make the money, and my word, I deserve it. I got my Patreon removed, $3,000 stolen from me. I wasn't worried about the $3,000. I was worried about how they just destroyed my platform out of nowhere. So you can count the pennies and how much I make. If I am making $4,000, which is close to after tax and this, that, and the other, yeah. How much money is that in reality? Times it by 12, 36 grand. Nearly all my friends that I know in the Western world are making more than that. Mine, personally. My wife's making 6-7 times that amount. Ex-wife. So, again, you can look at it and go, wow, he's making $1,000 a week. Yeah. 10 hours a day, mate. 7 days a week. 70 hours. And I coach and teach because I love it and my passion for it. So you've just got to be aware the blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice that's led me to a successful website. And I don't make people pay. If people want to cancel right now, if everyone wanted to cancel, you think The Illusion or Adam's not going to be able to get through it? No, I'll move on. Told you all of this. I ensured in my life that I have many gifts. Teach, coach, live stream, code the universe, writing books, all right, whatever it may be. If I lose one of them or two of them, I have other things to fall back on. I'm not a one-tricked pony who gives their all to one thing that can be taken off them and they're lost when they lose that one thing. Don't worry me. Anybody, again, who questions me making money from my website, what's your problem? Are you jealous? Ask yourself, go look in the mirror and ask if you're jealous. What else can it be? And tell me what's wrong about making money. If you say the truth should be free, I'm not giving you the truth. I'm giving you my truth. I'm not giving you the truth. The truth shall set you free. Not the truth should be free. It shall set you free. But what is the truth? My codes change people's lives. I think it's worth $10. Know what I mean? I wonder what it takes to be a farmer. Blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice. Should they be working for free as well? Come on. They work their asses off. Okay? A lot of farmers are born into it. They're born into that way of living. I have so much respect for farmers. But again, the world we're living in right now, they're trying to destroy farmers. Okay? They're trying to destroy farmers. They want to buy all the land, Satanists. They want to destroy farmers, self-employed people. They want to destroy people like me online, which is what they tried to do with Patreon by deleting me. But look what happened. I became stronger. Thanks to a lot of help from a lot of people. Do you think they're trying to buy you into the club? I think they're testing why I'm really doing it. I know because I know who I am. I knew who I was. I know if I would have got that email about getting offered money for basically promoting a really popular video game, I know about a year ago, I would have told the world, I would have boasted about it, I would have taken the money. I would let everyone know about it. I'm now telling you, not for the ego, because I don't care. I'm telling you that I'm getting these offers. I think the universe does test you. I think I got tested recently. I could have taken the podcast with the pro athlete. It would have got me a lot of exposure. All right, a lot of exposure. But I know a lot of people would then call me out, that I'm in the club, that they finally got to me. The more popular you get, the more accusations come out. That's a fact. I'm ready for that because, again, I know who I am. But in the space of about 3 days, I've had a professional athlete reach out to me. I've had this, whatever that Stray video game is. I had YouTube worried about my mental health from a video I did about Kurt Cobain's suicide. So YouTube contacted me. You got this professional athlete contacting me. You've got this really popular video game contacting me, all in the space of 3 days. I don't believe in coincidences. I said that in my group discussion. I don't think they exist in the slightest. There are none. All those 3 occasions, I could have called YouTube and said, hey, I'm suffering from mental health issues, which is comical. So they don't care about my health in any capacity. They were just letting me know, we know who you are. We're watching your videos. That's all that one was, my spirit tells me. We're watching you and we'll let you know. And the whole thing about suicide was like, people saying, watch out, Illusion. I don't let that worry me. I don't go that deep with it. With the athlete, yeah, maybe they've got handlers to say, right, this guy's exposing a lot. All right, get him on our side. Maybe. I won't respond to that person again. And the video game, you could just say, oh, this guy has got a popular channel, even though it's not that popular. Maybe they've looked at my age demographic. Most people that watch my videos are between 18 and 24. Maybe that's who they're aiming this game at. I don't know. It's like, okay, maybe this guy is ideal. Or maybe they're testing me again, like, is he doing this for the money? No, because I'd take that free money. Hey, guys, sure. And sending me a contract. I ain't signing no contract. I ain't signing no contract with anyone again. It's got the word con in it. You are a threat to him and his demons. I believe I am a threat to these people. But again, who was it in the group discussion who said this? It was amazingly powerful. May have been Gabriello Divino Sfarley. I can't remember who said it. Gabriel said it. When you truly are a believer, don't just use the whole thing, I'm a Christian. What does that even mean? When you're a true believer of God and you're wearing his armor, these demons, they turn away from you, in my opinion. They might come for you and realize, Jesus, this one's wearing God's armor. And they're scared. They're scared of light and truth and it being used against them. I have that gift and I'm using it against them. And I don't think they have the power to just take me out. Why am I still here? If anything was to happen to me, it happens. That's where I stand on it. Maybe because I have that lack of fear. They stay away. They feed off energy. That's why all your mainstream media news is negativity. To keep you on low frequencies, then they enter your body, then they attack you. I said in my group discussion as well, the biggest thing they have on you is the economy. They crush you through the economy. So don't be hating on me for making a bit of money for what I do. Don't focus your energy on me. All right? The economy is designed to crush the majority of the world. Let it crush you if you want. You have free will. Well, what would you do? I can't pay my bills and I can't pay for my car and I can't pay for my kid's school. Does your kid need the school? Do you actually need a car? Do you need a 4-bedroom house? Do you need all of those things? Maybe reflect and ask yourself, all right, I don't actually need all the things that I thought that I needed. So therefore, I don't need this stressful job. There was a guy who, I was really nice to this person, and I've done this now with multiple people. I don't know if I'm being too nice, but then again, it just felt right, so I do what feels right. The amount of people who've messaged me saying, hey, I'm really struggling. I love your website. I bought your book. I'm really struggling. Could you send me my $10 back? because I can't put food on the table. I don't know if they're being honest with me. But I'm thinking if you're going to go out of your way to want $10, you probably are really struggling. So I've sent so many people back their money, not because they've complained about the service, because they've told me they're broken financially. Maybe they signed up in the hope of winning money. I don't know. But again, if you're broken financially, how do you even bet? So I've done all of that, and it can be exhausting when you're putting out all that work and then people just go. It's like, I don't know, again, going to a restaurant. Just going to a restaurant and having this meal and telling the owner, I loved it, it was delicious, thank you so much. And then 3 weeks later, that person's like, hey, you know that meal you cooked for me that I loved? Yeah, you know I paid $10 for it. Do you mind sending me it back because I'm broke? How many people would do it? I'm doing it so often. I don't count those $10 up because I believe it. If I feel somebody's scamming me, I feel it as well. You know what I mean? I can almost sense when somebody's trying to scam me or take advantage of me. That's what I feel about this professional athlete. I think he's trying to take advantage of me with my mindset. Other people will say, take a chance on him. Take a chance. No, look what Zach did to me. Before I was really in touch with my spirit, I kept saying, all right, I'll give him another chance. Someone in my stomach said, no, don't. And then everyone in the chat, give him another chance. That's what Jesus would do. Give him another chance. Kept doing it, and he kept shitting on me. Kept praising me, then shitting on me. So there's got to be a certain point where you truly listen to your soul, not worry about what everyone in the chat's saying, or your parent, or your wife, or whoever it is. Now for me, if something don't feel right within my life, I won't do it. There can be a financial reward at the end of it. If it don't feel right, I won't do it. All right. If it's a day trip out somewhere, if something feels a bit iffy and off about it, I listen now. I'm like, nah, sorry. Why not? I don't feel right. In the past, I go, oh, no, I'm going to do it, whatever. We all know, we've all experienced feelings in our life where you know it's not right. You know what you're doing is not right. And you still play along with the game. And you go, why didn't I listen to my gut? We call it the gut. It's your spirit. It's your soul. All right? When you get a pain in your gut, you can feel it in your soul. You're like, oh. Start listening to that. So, video game, not a chance. Did I consider it? Was there a little moment? I even put it on my website. Guys, what would you do? 90% said just, this is temptation, stay away. But I didn't completely dismiss it straight away because you've got to be open-minded. So I looked into the video game. I didn't know what it was at the beginning. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. It was my mate Nathan who literally said, ads, why would you promote a video game? Like, why would you do that? I was like, yeah. What if I would have got an offer promoting this, which I drink, Bonafont water, and they said, we'll pay you between $100 and $5,000 a month, which is crazy. Imagine getting more money from doing that nonsense than actually 10 hours a day from the website. So if Bonafont contacted me and it was promoting bottled water, or if it's promoting a healthy lifestyle, and I genuinely believed it was, would I consider that offer? Yeah. Would it mean I've sold out? No. So you've got to weigh it all up. And I was like, yeah, video game, stray cat, it's talking about death and viruses or whatever it was. No. The professional athlete, did I weigh it up and go, all right, decent exposure, all right, it'll get me more people interested in my work, maybe too much exposure, which I don't want necessarily, but on the other hand, I do want that because I want people to see what I do. So there's a fine balance with it all. Weighing it all up, it can be exhausting. And then ultimately you weigh it all up and go, don't feel right, ain't doing it. And I really, deep down, don't want to be seen as some sort of Z-list celebrity either. All right? I don't want to be adored, but I want to be respected. All right? I don't want to be hated, but I do want people to question and call out my work at times. I think that's healthy. So, anyways, I've got a ton of stuff to do. This hasn't been a day off, 3 hours. But again, was that work? Was that work? That group discussion, was it work? Nah, didn't feel like work for a second. The only thing was I gave up my time on my somewhat day off. I gave up my time, which is somewhat sacred. But it wasn't work. My biggest thing to say to you guys is, if you're going to talk about money, find a job that pays you that doesn't feel like work, or at least doesn't often feel like work. When I coach, I ain't working. I'm kicking a ball around. When I'm teaching English, I don't feel like I'm working. I'm having a conversation. When I do this, doing these live streams, and I'm interacting with you all, not so much today in the chat, I apologize. It don't feel like work. That's why I come live when I'm supposed to go live. I don't clock in 9 to 5. Do I? So find something in your life that pays you just enough money to play along with this system. Try and make sure you enjoy it. And go out there. Do what I've done. You can use me as this, this guy's jealous. I'm jealous of this guy. I can't believe he's done that. Oh, this guy's corrupt. Oh, this guy's a scammer. Or you can look at me like, this guy has worked his ass off. He's gathered all this knowledge. He's set up a YouTube channel that had no following. He set up a website that had, thankfully, I did have following setting it up. I had a Patreon that had next to nobody for the first month. All right. Made nothing off it. Kept going, but I didn't do it for the money, because when I had the Patreon at the beginning, I had 2 jobs. I had a good income through coaching and teaching. That was just a tiny bit of bonus money. It literally was going out for a meal with my wife at the time, paid for by that site. Then it grew and grew. Why did it grow? Because I grew. My website's growing because I'm growing. Simple as that. People stay on my website because they're growing. It's feeding their spirit, their soul, their brain, their heart, whatever it is. Otherwise, they would leave. The people in my live streams every day, they're growing, or they won't be here. Nobody's forcing anyone here. Nobody's forcing you to leave a comment. Nobody's forcing you to sign up to a website. Nobody forced you to get that. Nobody. Whatever you convince yourself in your head, nobody forced you to do that. Nobody tied you down and forced you to do it. Nobody. Whatever you want to say. What's the name of the website? Theillusion.co. I'll put the link. And again, let's put it this way. Let's say I'm completely wrong about the end times and biblical prophecy and centuries away. And I'm completely wrong about the number of the beast and sports being coded and all of that. And it turns out that Illusion, all right, he said all this stuff, he made a few predictions, but look, in the long run, it was way off. That's a possibility. Highly doubt it, it's a possibility. But I can guarantee you this. Look you all in the eye and tell you, you will learn something from my website every single day. Where else can you get that guarantee? Because my website provides that. All right? I ain't a guy who posts one thing every month or every week or even every day. The range of content on there is unbelievable, and it's through the Holy Spirit, through my community as well. All right? Through my community who share things with me. Thanks to everyone who does email me, videos or links or ask me to code this or symbolism, whatever it is. I learn from hundreds of people every month, which is a gift. Potentially thousands of people learn from me, but I'm learning from loads of people. It would be so easy for me to get these emails, ignore them. You know what I mean? How am I getting from this? Is he paying me for this? No, I read every email from start to finish. I respond to them all as well. You know if you've emailed me. I don't have to do that. I don't get paid to do that. I'm not in a job where, okay, here's your job and you've got this website, but you have to respond to these emails. I don't have to. There's nothing in my website that says I will do that. I don't have to even respond to your comments on my website. I don't. Nowhere do I say that I'm going to do that. But I do. Because I find the comments interesting. And I do believe when you are craving knowledge and my opinion and you support my work, I'll give you my opinion. How many people have emailed me who are not on my website? Thousands. Do I respond? Yeah. Do I say, hey, well, if you want to ask me a question, get on the website. If you want to ask a question in the chat, I'm only going to answer it if you super chat me, like some people do on YouTube. They will only answer questions in the chat or respond to the chat if you super chat them. I never, ever ask for super chats, ever. Okay? Something beautiful when it just pops up. But there are a lot of people that do that. Do I respond to every comment in the chat? No. Sometimes I go off on one. I'm so focused on what I'm talking about. But again, all mankind must repent or perish. I agree. Adam, you're amazing. The work you do is great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Exactly, Adam. It's all voluntary. And guess what voluntary means in legislate? I think it means contractual. Wow. Wow. Pretty much everything is somewhat voluntary within this world. You have a choice. The system, society often makes you believe that you don't have a choice. I don't know how many people have told me I didn't have a choice. Or I don't have a choice. You do. You do. And you better start realizing that you have a choice. You can believe decode your reality, that basically your whole reality is being coded and there's very little you can do about it. I disagree. I disagree. I think your reality is coded, but you can do a lot about it. I think you have a say in your own code, but I think you've been given a code. Again, I always use this analogy. I apologize, but it's just very simple. You're given the ingredients. All right? That's your code. The ingredients is your code. You can't change those ingredients. They're the ingredients. You ain't changing them. You've been given those ingredients. Just like you've been given your code. You didn't decide when you were born or what family you were born into or what star sign you were. You didn't decide any of that. But then it's up to you what you do with those ingredients. It's up to you what you do with your code. My code's led me to this. I believe that with a few different tweaks, with my decisions, I might not have become the illusion. All right? It could have been someone else. I could have gone on a different path because of what I did and what I gave up, and it felt right, and I went along with it, and I overcame so much adversity and criticism and ridicule that I have made the illusion. It wasn't already predestined for me to be this person. I left England to go to the US. All right? I did that with my free will. I don't care if you believe, well, it's fine that you believe. No, it was already written. You're always going to go on that particular day and meet that particular person. I don't agree with that. I'll never believe that's how it is. I believe when it went to Mexico, I had a huge choice. I felt it. Keep playing football in LA, great lifestyle, or move to Mexico with the love of my life. I felt it. I knew I had a choice. I knew in my soul, right there and then, I had a choice. And I won't let anybody tell me that it was already pre-written for me to meet that person and then leave what I had in LA. I decided to go. The first 6 months in Mexico was the worst 6 months of my entire life. The worst 6 months of my entire life. All right? I can't put into words how bad that 6 months was. I got a parasite which was potentially deadly. The doctor said if it would have gone to my brain, I was dead. It was that bad. I had my suitcase stolen the day I arrived in Mexico. All my brand new clothes gone. Thousands and thousands of pounds worth of clothing gone. My ex-wife's father had a heart attack. He died and came back from the dead. They came out and said he's dead. Shortly after, they said he's woken up. He now is a devout believer in Jesus Christ. Before, he didn't believe in Jesus. He's devout. He lives in a little hut in the middle of nowhere, despite the money he has. He lives in a hut with no electricity. And he just preaches the word of God. Does nothing. Doesn't have to make money really anymore. All right? His daughter's providing with food. He's like, I don't need any more than food and water, because he had that awakening. I lived through a Category 4 hurricane, the worst ever recorded in the state where I live. No electricity, 2 weeks. All right? Horrific. Didn't speak Spanish. Didn't have a job. Didn't have my papers. Moved to this part of Mexico whilst it was the hottest summer ever recorded. Lost my friends. Didn't have a football team. Gave up Hollywood life. Gave all of that up. And I lived in Mexico and had an absolute nightmare. I'm living with a woman who I'd never lived with before, who turned out to be my wife. I got married, which was beautiful, but all that happened in the space of 6 months, when I was the guy who played football, he lived in England, and he had a beautiful actress girlfriend, and he moved to LA and is playing with Vinnie Jones, and he's making $130 an hour coaching, and then going to the beach, work 3 hours a day. Now I'm in Mexico getting destroyed. So what did I do after the 6 months? I said to my family, I said to Betsy, I can't do this. I broke down in tears. I was broken. Never in my life. My whole life had been easy. Everyone was like, something's going to happen to you, Adam. Your life just always so perfect. Everything just works out for you. And I used to get a bit bitter with that. I was like, well, yeah, fair enough. But I do take chances, and I do have many gifts. So you can call me lucky if you want. My mate, I'd always beat him like 10-0 at pool. You're lucky. Why do I always beat you 10-0? I'm not lucky. I'm better than you. Are you cocky? No, I'm not lucky. I'm better than you. Just take it and improve. So I moved back to England. I just got married, guys. All right. Love of my life. Incredible. I still love her a bit. I always will. She knows that. But I told her, I said, I've got to go. I've got to go back to England. And she understood. She couldn't believe what happened to me in those 6 months. And her, but more me. You know what I mean? Without being selfish. I'm living in Mexico. I'd never dreamed of living. Completely different culture and all of that. So I went back to England, and I told you this. I was still speaking to Betsy every day. She said, I'm going to come over. I'm going to try England with you. All right? I'm going to live there 6 months, and we'll decide. Do we both want to live in England? Do we want to give Mexico a chance? Are we going to both go back to the US? So I was so grateful that she was willing to do that. So I go back to England, and I had this whole mindset of, I'm going to take the first job offer. I didn't care if it was a gigolo, a cleaner, a librarian, working in Asda. I'm going to take anything. Anything. I just want to work. I had no meaning. I couldn't work in Mexico. So I wasn't bringing money in either to support my wife. Luckily, I had a decent amount of money in my account from coaching and playing football and all of that. So that got me through it. I didn't really have to work, but you need that meaning, don't you? I didn't have that meaning. I wasn't coding or anything. So first job I got offered, Carphone Warehouse. All right? Carphone Warehouse. Salesman. I was like, all right, I'll go to the interview. Never failed an interview. Whatever it's been, as a coach, a teacher, a barman, never failed an interview. I'm going to go. I'm going to get this job. And it's in Guiseley. All right, I'll play football for them. It's a bit of a nightmare. I didn't drive. I'm going to have to get 2 trains to get there, or train and a bus, or train and walk. I'm going to do it. And I went there. I couldn't believe how mind-numbing it was. But I got offered a manager's role within 4 or 5 months. Again, probably making more money than I am at this point doing this website. I think it was like 30-odd thousand being a manager. And because I was really good, I was selling phones left, right, and center, which is not easy to do. I was actually working in Dixon's. So it wasn't even Carphone Warehouse necessarily. It was a tiny little corner where in Dixon's, you go there for a Hoover, an oven, all sorts of stuff. You're not really going in there for a phone. I had to draw people in with the gift of the gab to lead them and say, hey, you know, mate, do you want a new contract? Are you due an upgrade? I can check. I can throw in like a free screen protector, this, that, and the other. I'll show you how to download apps. I'll show you how to use your phone. I had to do that, bring them in. And I was the number one person in sales. Never did sales before. Number one, got offered the management role. Declined it. So I sat down with Betsy. I said, what shall we do here? And I realized how difficult it was to get a visa for Betsy. Anyone who's been through this, it's incredibly challenging. All right. She had to leave England for a year. I had to ensure that I could make enough money over a year to support 2 people. And I had to have pay slips. I had to prove this, that, and the other. And she wasn't allowed to be with me. So we would have had to have separated for a year. If you're not aware of this, you haven't done the research. I went down every avenue to try and get her there. People think it's as simple as, all right, you're married. She can come live in England. No, maybe when we were in the EU and all of that, she's Mexican. It's completely different. All right. It's completely different. So I was like, listen, Betsy, I like England here. We've had a great time. She learned to love it. At the beginning, she hated it. The weather, the people, the food. She was like, what am I doing here? She had that whole thing that I had with Mexico, and she learned to love it. And I said to her, Betsy, thanks for doing this. I didn't give Mexico a proper chance. I'd heard all these beautiful things about Mexico, especially where I live. And obviously I've experienced them. I said, here's what's going to happen. We're going back to Mexico. Really? I knew she wanted to go back. Really? Yeah. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to get a job. And she said, you know what? You could be an English teacher. You have that credential to teach English as a foreign language. I said, yep. And I'm going to contact every international school and I'm going to be the best damn coach in Mexico. Although it's not in Mexico, but I said that. In Mexico. All right? All the schools are going to want me. All right? I had this passion in me. So I knew how good I was and I forgot how good I was. So I went 6 months without working. I said, I'm going to go there. I'm going to teach. I'm going to coach. I'm going to find a football team. We're going to go to the beach. All right? We're going to move out of that apartment. You're going to do great because you're an incredible woman. She does phenomenal now. I told you, the amount of money she makes through her job is off the charts, but she deserves every single penny. She didn't start off with that. She worked for it. And now look, I live in one of the best parts of the world. I just didn't realize that at the time. And that's sometimes in your life. You've got it really good and you don't realize it because you're focusing on the negatives. I was focusing on it's too hot. I don't have a job. I don't have family. I don't have a football team. I didn't do anything about it. I can't control the weather. Go to the beach. No, it's too hot. Get an umbrella, Adam. Go under an umbrella. Find some shade. Go to the beach. I don't have a job. There's ways of finding work. And I did. My first bit of money that I made was a private class. So I didn't need to go through the government or anything. They put money in my hand. I remember that feeling. It was only like next to not, it was $20 or something for the hour. Now I can charge $100. Yes, I can. Oh my God, how does he do that? Because I can. People want to pay it. They offer me it. So $20 at the end of it. I remember feeling like, wow, okay. And then I found another client. Then I got a group of them together. And then I'm working in a school. Then I get offered this. And that other school offers me more money. And la-di-da-di-da. I get friends. I have a football team. Now. Okay? And it became incredible. It's the best place I've ever lived. But do you know how hard it was to go back to a place where you had the worst 6 months of your life that broke you almost? You're going back to it. That's what I did. I went back to the place, the other side of the world, where I had the worst 6 months of my life. You tell me how many people would have done that. And I went back home with the comfort of I was playing semi-pro, getting paid. I had all my friends and my family. We had a beautiful house in a beautiful village. Yes, my job, I wasn't in love with it, but it was making me good money. I got offered a management role on top of what I would have got for playing football. Tell me how many people would have gone back to the place that almost ruined them. So when anyone attempts to call me out, they don't know what I've gone through and what I've given up and what gifts that I have. I'm gifted with God. Here he goes. I am. Thank you, God. Football. Gifted. Allow me to go to LA and set up my own coaching company and get paid for playing football and talk about football. All right. English. Gifted. Did amazing at school. Teach it. All right. Got offered the job to be an English coordinator. Turned it down. Didn't want to be in an office. Sales. Never wanted to get into it. Gifted. Got offered a management role. Turned it down. Gematria. Numbers. Didn't know what it was. Didn't care about numbers. Gifted. Sharing that gift with other people. They think I'm cocky and arrogant. I'm not. I'm gifted. And there's a lot of things I'm not good at. But that's the reality, and I'm sick when people call me lucky. And you're lucky for having a website. You're lucky you make that amount of money for a website. Like, piss off. It really is infuriating at times. It's infuriating. But, again, people can say whatever they want, can't they? Right, I'm getting hungry now. What time is it? Oh, my word, it's 6:24. Messi's birthday. The date Freemasonry was founded, 624, June the 24th. Right, looks like Dallas are going to take the lead. Look how San Francisco were up 9-6. They were up. They're not going to be for long. That's when the Queen died. It's just comical. And obviously this NFL season began the date she died. We live in a coded reality. It's undeniable. And I think it's essential you learn the code to prevent yourself from being mocked, ridiculed, distracted, manipulated. When you learn the code, you see through the illusion, which helps you find who you are. Because whilst you live in an illusion, you're not being your true identity. You're not. You're a puppet on a string. When you somewhat escape the programming, I don't think you can completely escape it, to be honest. But this knowledge will change your life if you are willing for it to change your life. Is this score going to go 9-9 for Prince Philip, who died at age 99 on the 99th day of the year? And 9 times 11 is 99, like 9/11. Is it going to go 9-9? And today's the anniversary of Kobe Bryant's 81-point game, which is 9 times 9. Is that what's going to happen? Is this organic? Maybe. Depends what you regard organic as. If it's a code and it's all predestined, it's organic somewhat, isn't it? If it's all been predestined. But the reality is, we live in a coded reality. You decide who's coding it. You decide if you have free will. It's up to you to decide. But it's not a coincidence that the Bulls just went out. Number 17, the quarterback, they lost by 17 points on the 17-year anniversary of Kobe's 666 game. It's not, is it? It's not. And why this game's 9-9 now? California was founded 9-9. The year of Super Bowl 56. The season began on 9-9. 99 days before the Pope's birthday. The two quarterbacks in Super Bowl 56 both wore number 9. The last major player was Aaron Charles Donald, number 99. Middle name Charles. Shortly after, we have King Charles. You've got Donald in his name. Trump's on his way. Learn the code, not just to win money. Yes, I said Super Bowl 56 will be 2023. Odell Beckham opening touchdown. Rams would win. Did that help people financially? Sure. Where's that money gone now? What did you do with that money? Probably gone, no? Is it gone? Yeah. Did the knowledge help you in any way? Did it lead you to God? Did it lead you to realize we live in a coded reality? Did it give you a passion for knowledge? I hope so. That's what I care about. Because your money's going to come and go. Knowledge, wisdom, your soul, that's eternal, in my opinion. So I got to go because my stomach's rumbling. Divine was talking about food in that group discussion. She made me starving. I've not ate enough today other than that breakfast earlier with Kenya. It was delicious, by the way. Is a bacon, mushroom, onion crepe with salad. And I had a Snickers Frappuccino. Not the healthiest, but my word, it was delicious. All right. So your calendar video was mind-blowing. Thank you. I prefer doing videos like that than the sports stuff. But the sports stuff is like a necessary evil to wake people up at this point. NFL games today have been off the charts coding. They always are, mate. So they always are, whatever it may be. It's all by a code. And does it matter if the players are aware? Yeah, I think it does, because if they're aware, they know that they're basically taking advantage of people. They're aware of it. If they don't know it, all right, you've got to show some sort of, not respect for the people, but less judgment. We don't know if they know the code. I don't think it's possible that they all know. I just think it's impossible for them all to know the code. They can't all know it. They can't all be aware of it. All right, I'm off. So take care. I'm going to do a quick video tonight. No, I'm not. I'm probably not, because I'm knackered. But I'll show you why the Bulls lost and how it connected to Damar Hamlin and George Floyd. And you're going to go, oh my God. That's what you're going to do when you see that. And I'm going to keep it short, like Tom Cruise. All right. Thank you. Take care. And much love, guys. And special thank you to everyone who took part in the group discussion. If I do more, I'll notify you. But I'll notify the website first, give you first opportunity. It'll just be first up. First that agree to sign up will be part of it. That's how I'm going to do it. It's the best way of doing it. All right. Cheers, Chigozi. Thank you for everything. Appreciate that. You appreciated that I shared my story. I'd much rather talk about everyday real events, my story, my truth, my journey, than talk about Damar Hamlin. Did he have a cardiac arrest or not? Again, necessary evil talking about those things. All right. Thank you. He's saying enjoy dinner so many times because he's saying leave. Cheers. Take care. Much love.